Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video on the channel. Today we're reviewing Boruto episode 89, and in this episode there was a lot of stuff that happened that I really liked. Two specific moments, to be honest, because with the two characters that did it, it didn't really further the character, but it was just like a really cool moment in the episode. But the episode kind of has a lot of lazy writing, mainly around one specific scene and about a couple characters that didn't need to happen, but it's like a classic anime slash villain trope, and some people are talking about it, and they're kind of pissed off about it, so it's kind of whatever. So the beginning of the episode pretty much starts off with Onoki pretty much being locked in a bedroom because A, he's weak, B, he's old, and C, him and Ku are starting to have conflicts with their plans. They're two entirely different things, and Ku wants him to kind of basically be out of the way. We cut back to Shikadai and the other two for one scene. They were only in this episode for one scene, and I thought that was really weird. They didn't really do anything else besides that. But then we go back to Kirara, Boruto, and Sawada, and they're about to fight. They do the fucking intro again, obviously, and then we cut back to the fight that was about to happen. Kirara has Boruto and Sawada under a genjutsu. It's kind of a genjutsu in the sense that she's kind of controlling them and making them do whatever she wants. It's kind of like body manipulation, if anything. But they start fighting, or she starts making them start fighting. And this is where the trope, the villain trope happens, where she has full, complete control of what these two can do, right? Full control. And Sawada pulls out her Sharingan to try to put Boruto on her genjutsu, but she closes his eyes. She then makes Sawada swing her sword towards Boruto's neck to almost kill him, but then she stops, and then she's like, "Oh, I don't want the fun to stop now. Let's keep this going. Let's let the fun keep going, so that way it doesn't have to end as soon as possible, right?" Like that's the villain trope. If you have the villain in a movie or a TV show, whenever they're ridiculously more powerful and they like something that's going on and they think it's fun, quote unquote, they'll typically just do this trope where they'll just keep it going and going and going, just to further it out. And that just brings up the problem with the pacing with this entire arc, and this arc already has enough bad pacing issues as is anyway. So just the pacing with all that and that fucking stupid ass trope, it doesn't make any sense in a writing stance, because she has full manipulation over the two of them, their entire bodies, so she can easily have Boruto kill Sawada or Sawada to kill Boruto, and she would be able to just do it in a snap of a fucking finger. But she doesn't do it. She instead drags it on even more, furthering the issues that were with the pacing in this entire arc. This arc already has a lot of pacing issues to begin with, and at times it gets really annoying. We cut back to Noki after that. Soon after that, there's a cut in between of what I was talking about, but there's a cut. But then we go to fucking Onoki, and he's starting to realize oh hey, maybe this entire time that Ku has been around, maybe he did acquire free will. I think I might have been wrong. I should totally do something about that. And I'm oh, well, I'm glad you realized that now. All of a sudden, only now have you learned it over the course of however long Ku has been around, for months, maybe a couple of years now at this point. How do you only realize that now that he has free will, when someone like fucking Boruto, who's a goddamn idiot, realized it in just a couple of days, being around you and the fabrications and bullshit. It's really weird. I find that really weird how Onoki was completely oblivious to that, but Boruto was able to figure that out just in an instant, basically just being around them for only a short while. He was only around Kakuyo and the others for not even a full day. He was just around them for a while during fights, and he was already able to pick up on that as soon as possible. So it's really weird. And then we cut back to Mitsuki when he's with Sakie and the doctor, and they're getting ready to prep one of the hearts to give it to Lord Ku. And I was like, okay, so we have Mitsuki in this episode. Is he gonna do anything? Because he hasn't fucking done anything for like the past like 9 fucking episodes, it seems like. Like seriously, like this arc was centered around Mitsuki since the very beginning. And a lot of the times as the arc continued on, it started jumping back and forth between a whole bunch of other different characters. And I was like, yeah, that's cool and all. It's cool to get character development with characters like Inojin, like in the last episode, and even like Shikadai even, and Boruto even, but that's not what the whole arc was supposed to be about. The whole arc is supposed to be about Mitsuki and whether or not he believes, or whether or not he has free will or not, kind of like these fabrications. These fabrications have free will, but Mitsuki himself doesn't know if he has really any humanity with him. He believes that he's like these fabrications and doesn't have a heart, doesn't have free will, and was just made the way he was because of that's what was Orochimaru's plan. But in this episode, he actually ends up turning on Lord Ku, and that's because he finally, realized that he does have humanity. He doesn't like what these guys were doing by taking Stone Shinobi's fucking hearts and implementing them into the fabrications. He didn't like that. His will was to then stop Ku and these other fabrications. That's what his will then became. He wanted to stop them, whilst also at the same time wanting to help Sakie, because in the previews he wants to go and help Sakie, and just what am I trying to say? He wants to help Sakie, basically in the previews. He wants to help him instead of fighting him, because they do end up fighting in the next episode from what we see in the previews. But he doesn't agree with what Q and the other fabrications are doing. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He just wants to, kind of be there and help around. But that was my whole problem with Mitsuki in the first place, was they weren't doing anything with him. Whenever they would show him in episodes, he would talk, like, very briefly, and then that's it. They didn't do anything else with him. We didn't have, like, anything, like, no insight thought of what he was thinking about. No, like, nothing hinting at his true intentions, like, really, since, like, before episode 80, like when he first attacked Boruto and like knocked him out and all that. Like nothing happened. Like they didn't do anything with him. And yeah, they had like this, they did a flashback of when Konohamaru and Mitsuki met, but that scene wasn't as impactful as it should have been. It kind of just, it was something that we should have saw in the previous episode, but we didn't see it in the previous episode. I actually don't know if it was in the previous episode, but it happened. It happened, and we didn't get to see it like actually like come to fruition, and we didn't see it. They just showed Mitsuki looking at Konohamaru, and they didn't fucking say anything. So we as an audience have to, assume what the hell they were talking about in the first place. And then what do you know? They're talking about how Mitsuki has his own free will. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do, and he just has to catch Lord Ku off guard, because that was the whole reason why he was, going along with all this stupid crap anyways. It was because Lord Ku has guard up the whole time, and he had to, catch him off guard in order to attack him. That was it. So the end of the episode pretty much just shows Mitsuki giving Lord Ku a fake heart, and then he attacks him from behind, catching him off guard, and then he pretty much ends up joining back with, Team 7, Boruto and Sarada. He's not a deserter. That's basically the entire thing. He's not a deserter. He was coming up with this plan the whole time, as he was deceiving Sakie and the others the whole time. He was trying to go after Lord Ku this entire time, it seems like. But we had no idea that was the case, because they never explained it to us. They never told us. They never showed us, like, the insight thoughts of Mitsuki and what the hell he was doing in the first place. So the whole scene where Konohamaru says that Mitsuki will always be a member of Team 7 no matter what happens, that wasn't as impactful as it should have been, because in the episode, as I was watching it, I felt like it would have been really cool if Konohamaru went in and saved Boruto and Sarada from Kirara, and then they would have gone in over to where Lord Ku was, and then Mitsuki would have turned on Lord Ku, and then they would have been much more impactful, because it would have shown the message of the don't give up on your friends, and that whole philosophy, that whole message that Boruto has been trying to have this entire time for like the entirety of the series. That would have been so much more impactful, but they didn't do that. They did it in an entirely different way, and it was really annoying. And I just hit my mic. I'm sorry. They did it in an entirely different way. It was really annoying. I fucking hated it. It just could have been done so much better. It could have been written so much better. But whatever, you know. Yep, the episodes that were badass and were really cool regardless. But I feel like the writing for this episode, with certain moments, could have been done a lot better. And for what it's worth, this episode was still, you know, passable. It's fine. I don't really have like any gripes with this episode. The animation never really seemed off at any points. The animation never really seemed off at any points of the episode. You know, the writing at some points is like okay, passable, you know, and then of course there's writing that's like really bad, and I wish it was done really a lot better. But it's whatever. It doesn't really bother me that much. It doesn't take away my enjoyment of the episode, regardless. But like I said, there were still moments where I feel like the writing could have been better. But what can you do? Like, the fucking episode's already out. I can't do anything about it. So, that's pretty much the end of the review. And I actually have to go watch the Bandai Namco stream, because they are about to stream something for Xenoverse 2 and Fighters. And hopefully it's Season 2 of Fighters, because that's going to be really exciting. But regardless, that's pretty much the end of the episode. I have nothing else to add on top of what happened in the episode besides the previews, but I already kind of talked about it anyways, regarding Mitsuki and Sakie fighting in the next episode, which isn't that really much of a surprise, because Sakie was feeling really sad. He says it in the episode, he was feeling really sad that Kako and Kakuyo were gone and were dead, and now he's like really mad at Mitsuki, because Mitsuki was deceiving him the whole time, just to, you know, catch Ku off guard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The episode was passable. The writing could have been a lot better at certain points, and I wish it was better at certain points, and I wish the pacing was so much better, because it felt like this episode was being dragged on for a lot longer than it should have been, because of what I explained earlier. But it's not really that big of a deal, as long as just we get to the next arc as soon as possible. From what I hear, we have like a couple more episodes left, like 4 more episodes. So hopefully, you know, after the 4 episodes are over for this arc, we get something a lot more interesting in the next arc. But that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. If you aren't new, subscribe for more videos just like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.